Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest T there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, it looks like Durk have pulled off another Houdini trick after all, y'all. And like I always tell y'all, it's like that law don't apply to average people the same way it applied to these rappers. Something that could for sure put me and you away for a long time. These guys end up getting charged in the court of law, and somehow they either beat it or don't do anywhere near the time they supposed to. And it's looking like that just may be the fate of Chicago rapper Lil Durk, after it said that he would not be charged for having involvement in the unaliving of a Chicago native by the name of Stephon Mack. Now today is June the 2nd, in which Lil Durk was granted yet another bond hearing, making it his third one in less than a year, with the last one just being weeks ago. But if y'all remember correctly, he was denied back in December, then denied in May, and now today is the day we will find out whether he would get another bond or not. Like I stated in the previous video, some people are under the impression that him getting a bond means that the case is dismissed and he's going to be out of jail. No, him getting a bond, if they decide to give him one, is only guaranteeing that he'll get released, but still have to follow certain guidelines, and he's allowed to fight his case from the outside until his trial date that's scheduled in October will begin. That's all that means. Now, before Lil Durk was denied bond the last time, him and his attorneys offered $900,000 in real estate assets, $1 million in cash from Alamo Records, and $150,000 from a business associate. It also included around-the-clock private security, GPS monitoring, and strict court supervision, assuring that he doesn't use any drugs or substances. However, Magistrate Judge Donahue still denied Lil Durk's bond offer and stated that he's a potential threat to the community if he was released, and pointed out his travel decision prior to getting arrested, making it seem like he was a flight risk for trying to leave after realizing that his co-defendants were arrested for a crime at hand. Now, like I told y'all before, I don't know what would change, what would make him not a threat now, or whatever they said before, but I guess, of course, they're going to try to exhaust any option that they have, because that's what Durk is paying them for. With that being said, being that he was denied twice, Durk's attorneys felt that maybe the judge wasn't budging because she may have a gripe with Lil Durk, after Judge Donahue also pointed out that Durk was breaking federal facility rules by using other inmates' pins to set up third-party phone calls in the jail that he's at. But his defense lawyer Drew Fenelon stated that people misuse phone calls in jail all over the world all the time, and he has only heard of Durk doing positive things in jail, including turning inmates inside the jail Muslim. However, it didn't make Judge Donahue budge, and she stated that it's not about the phone call itself, but more so about Durk showing disrespect when it comes to following rules, prompting them to believe he would have a hard time following rules if he was free on the outside, which kind of makes sense if you're looking at it from that aspect. Now, right after Durk's second bond package was denied on May 8th, 2025, by May 14th, his other attorney, Christy O'Connor, filed an application for review of reconsideration of order setting conditions of release or detention. This will put Durk in front of a district judge, which holds more authority over a magistrate judge, and they hope that the judge assigned by the name Judge Fitzgerald will be on their side in reversing the last judge's decision. Now, according to reports, attorney Drew Fenelon argued that Durk deserves another chance at bail solely because his indictment wrongfully said Durk referenced the unaliving of Lil Pab in his music. Now, it will come out that the third bond package Lil Durk and his attorneys are now offering is $4.5 million. That includes $3 million in personal funds, $1 million from Alamo Records, $500,000 from a business partner, and $700,000 in equity from his mother's home. Now, like I told y'all before, that is a lot of money in assets for one bond, and if they're not letting him out knowing he's offering all that, it seems like they personally want to keep him inside, and it's deeper than just money or whatever he's offering. I'm also sure it's probably because of the stunt he pulled before they arrested him, where they felt he was trying to escape and caught him just in time. However, we have gotten a slight bit of update when it comes to Lil Durk's case as of today. It still hasn't been known whether they're going to grant him a bond or not, but today it has been stated that the death penalty is no longer on the table for Lil Durk, which is one step in the right direction for him and his legal team. Also, many believe that he may be getting released today due to reports that he is now having the charges against him within that sealed indictment drop for the unaliving of Stephon Mack. For y'all that don't know, Durk's name was mentioned in the sealed indictment where Stephon Mack was shot and unalived after leaving a youth center where he worked at in 2022. As he was leaving, two men would hop out of a black vehicle, begin firing, and chase him down. The car was left on the scene as the two suspects got away, and as police checked the car, it was a phone left in there linked to the suspects as well as fingerprints. After doing investigations, law enforcement will uncover that the two suspects accused in the incident are linked back to Lil Durk. They claim to have text messages between the two showing two texting about allegedly collecting money from Lil Durk for what took place. Law enforcement also had pictures of Durk associating himself with the said suspects as well as other evidence they have included a possible cooperator. Durk's name being mentioned in the sealed indictment was exposed back in December of 2024, around the same time he went for his first bond hearing. At that time, the news of the indictment is said to be the reason he wasn't released then, but now it's looking like they're looking to remove Durk from that case completely. So far it was two things that was holding him back from getting bond, which was the phone calls that he was making from jail that was illegally third party and his alleged involvement in the unaliving of Stephon Mack. So the next question is, what happens when both of those things are actually taken out? According to Stephanie Forrest, who worked for BOP for 21 years, she says although Lil Durk is violating rules by engaging in three-way calls, it is not criminally motivated. She also stated that Durk has not been given any incident reports regarding this violation, so BOP must not believe it is a serious offense, which indicates that maybe in the future they wouldn't be able to use it against him because although he violated the facility rules like they said, he wasn't given any reports of it, which states that maybe they don't take it serious and they're just using it as an excuse. And to break it down in layman's terms, it's equivalent to getting stopped for speeding while you're driving and not getting a ticket, but you're told that you have to go to court. If you get stopped for speeding and don't get a ticket informing you of the law you just broke, in most cases, the incident when you return to court will be thrown out because you don't have the initial ticket informing you that you just broke a law. Even if they do something as small as misspelling your name, even if they're off by so much as a letter, it will be thrown out because there was a mistake on that ticket. So I don't know, but it seemed like Durk's lawyers are fighting hard for him. Now when it comes to the Stephon Mack situation, here's what was presented by federal prosecutors concerning that case. Court documents will say, quote, "The government repeatedly cites to allegations from a federal case out of Illinois where Mr. Banks have never been charged and never will be charged despite the passage of over 3 years since the underlying incident. The government's own exhibit reveals that the allegations pertaining to Mr. Banks are based primarily on information from a cooperating human source. CHS-1, described in the affidavit as a paid FBI informant and former gang member with a criminal history. Most importantly, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois has confirmed that they do not plan to supersede the charges dared to indict Mr. Banks in connection with the ongoing case in United States versus Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell. When asked by Judge Thomas M. Duncan whether the case would be superseded, the government affirmed that it would not be. This court should give no weight to the uncharged and uncorroborated allegations. If the AUSAs in Chicago, who have had over 3 years to evaluate the evidence, have determined not to charge Mr. Banks or even name him as a co-conspirator like they have with 2 other individuals, this court should not rely on these same non-meritorious allegations to justify, in whole or in part, Mr. Banks' continued detention. So like I said before, it seems to me if they can get those 2 things debunked and out of here, that was the only thing that was holding Durk back according to the judges. So if they could find proof that that will not be held against him, then we might just see Durk coming home. Unless they try to stick him with the potential threat thing, in which that'll probably be the only thing I could see holding weight, because like they said it previously, if he is being involved in an M for hire plot, then it's clear as day that he have the money and power to get things done without having his hands directly tied in it, making him more dangerous in the free world where they can't monitor him, and which also puts family members to witnesses and cooperators now at risk. So these are all the things that the feds will have to consider before they actually allow him to be released, if they do. Now, one thing about the feds you have to watch is they always have a trick up their sleeve. I do find it strange that they would mention that his name is involved in unsealed indictments, and then they decide not to follow through with everything. But like I said, they always have tricks up their sleeves. It's ironic that they'll do all that investigating to prove Durk is a part of the indictment and even announce a sealed one, and then suddenly back off like that. I could be wrong though, but it's just interesting. But that's pretty much it, y'all. As of now, there hasn't been any official word on if Durk will be getting out after he went to court or not. But so far, we do know that they threw out the death penalty in the case as punishment, and the feds are no longer pursuing him for the unaliving of Stephon Mack, who was believed to have had involvement in Durk Brothers' unaliving. Interesting. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.